Welcome to my new clip, which features all of the birds that I saw in a single day at Nung Bird Hide on the edge of Gengrajan National Park. An astonishing 27 species, including 4 lifers for me. My first visitors were black-crested bulbuls. Just gorgeous. This clip is rather long, but as always I have listed all of the species in the description below, together with timestamps, so feel free to use that to navigate the clip if there are just certain species that you want to see. I used the term lifer just now, sounds rather criminal, and indeed many of the bird watchers that I know do fit that category. But as you probably know, that just refers to the first time that I can confirm that I have seen that species in my life. I believe that my next visitor was a juvenile female Siberian blue robin. There will be a couple of species in this clip that I'm not 100% sure of, so please feel free to leave a comment if you disagree with my ID. Absolutely no mistaking this one. A white-crested laughing thrush, of course. One of a small flock that visited the hide several times during the day. Or would it have been several groups coming in turns? If anyone has any thoughts on that, please leave a comment. As I have mentioned in previous clips, this is not an entirely natural situation. Water and food is provided daily for these birds, and you can see the corn scattered about on which they are feeding. Nonetheless, they are truly wild animals in the forest that have just become accustomed to visiting this hide for the food and water. And it's not just birds that come here. Several mammal species can usually be seen too. This is a grey-bellied squirrel you can see in the background. What a beauty this is! A male black-naped monarch. Here, more laughing thrush. Greater necklace laughing thrush this time. These birds are frequent visitors to this hide for eating, drinking and bathing. A female red jungle fowl, wild ancestor of the unfortunate domestic chickens abused in farms all over the world. As I have said on previous clips, there are sometimes so many animals here that it feels a bit more like a petting zoo than the wild forest. This is a spotted dove, intricately beautiful in its own way. And now the third of the laughing thrush species that I always see here. This is the lesser necklaced laughing thrush. As with the other laughing thrush species, these birds don't just come here to feed, but frequently visit to drink and to bathe, especially in the hotter parts of the day. And one of the signature species of these hides, Kalij pheasants. As you can see, a very high degree of sexual dimorphism in these birds, but both the silver males and the bronze females stunningly beautiful in their own ways. I was particularly interested to see that the males were very tolerant of one another, but quite intolerant of the female. Curious. It is my sincere hope that one day I'll be visiting here and a female Kalij pheasant will come in with a row of chicks in tow behind her. What a sight that would be. This delightful little bird is an Abbott's babbler. This was one of several species that appear to visit the hide just for the water. I have a large reforestation project in the west of Thailand where I will start making small water pools and hides over the coming year. I don't intend to put out food, but I can't wait to see what birds will come to drink and bathe there. Ah, a black-naped monarch again, this time a female, And in the background, my first lifer today, a common enough bird apparently, a pin-striped titbabbler. And a whole crowd of Kalij pheasants has dropped in now for the food. I think we can assume, therefore, that this is not the nesting season. I must try and find out when that is, so that I can come to these hides shortly afterwards, as I really would love to see the chicks of these birds. A white-rumped shama now, another of the species that just comes here for the water. Well, this is a surprise. A pair of drongos. I don't think I've had them at this hide before. They're a bit scruffed up, but I believe these are black drongos. And here is the first of one of the blue flycatchers. There are several species that are difficult to tell apart in the field, but the feeling is that this is probably a female Chinese blue flycatcher. And suddenly a large scimitar babbler appears at the pool. I've only seen these shy birds a handful of times. Stunning. And just like that, it was gone. There is so much to see here all day that I actually have to be quite disciplined about not filming everything. But I can't resist these pheasants. A male red jungle fowl, of course. And now the first of the three partridge species that attract visitors to these hides. These are bar-backed partridge. Later, I will get to see the ferruginous partridge, but I missed out on the scaly-breasted partridge today. I generally like to sit at hides from morning right through to the evening, but today I was running out of memory by lunchtime, so I left the hide from 12 until 2 to clear the footage off my camera. And it's possible that the scaly-breasted came at that time. fantastic racket-tailed tree pies are here. These birds are often thought to be black, but when viewed in a certain light, we can see this incredible green sheen on their plumage, which combined with that piercing blue eye makes these birds a truly stunning sight. It was wonderful to get these tree pies back again bathing, and actually what I really wanted to do was to film them at high frame rates so that I could show them bathing in slow motion. But that would have required much faster shutter speeds as well, and I really thought there wasn't enough light for that. But later in the day I had to use very high ISO with this camera, the Sony A1, and the images look pretty good, so I will try some slow motion next time. Here's the male black-naped monarch again. With his dive bomb approach to bathing. And here a common emerald dove. There always seems to be one or two of these around. And another visit from the large scimitar babbler. But it's gone. Oh, it's back. I am being spoilt today. And here, another of the blue flycatchers, this time a male. And then, to my total amazement, a brief encounter with a crake. A streak-eared bulbul, a very common bird throughout Thailand. I was particularly pleased to get the male and female black-naped monarch together on the same perch for comparison. These streak-eared bulbuls are often very comfortable around people and will frequently nest in gardens. And now that crake is back. I am stunned. Another lifer for me. This is the aptly named red-legged crake. Note that one of the drawbacks of these woodland hides is that the light can fall very low. As I mentioned earlier, at times today I was up to over 16,000 ISO. Still, the images seem to be good enough, I think, to use for YouTube, so I'm really pleased to have learnt that about my camera. This bird really takes a long and thorough bath. Another stunner, a female Blythe's paradise flycatcher. Another look at the male blue flycatcher. I think this is probably an Indo-Chinese blue flycatcher. If you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear from you. And the white-rumped Shama is back. Well, the light is getting really low now, and I know from previous experience that there are often a number of species that like to come and bathe late on in the day. But I absolutely wasn't expecting this. Another crake, but not the red-legged crake. I now know that this is the less common slaty-legged crake, but at the time I was scratching my eyes wondering if I was seeing things. Bear in mind that both the species are lifers for me, and I've got my bird book open on a chair next to me trying to compare the two pictures while still filming, and all the while straining my eye through the camera viewfinder. I only use manual focusing with a focus assist feature known as peaking, which illuminates the focused area, in my case in red highlights. But this makes it difficult to see the colours and pattern of the bird. I've subsequently set the camera so that I can turn that peaking on and off very quickly without taking my eye from the viewfinder, to help me with confirming the ID of birds whilst filming. Well, it was just a joy for me watching this crake taking a bath here. It really is a special feeling being in these hides, able to watch wildlife behaving naturally, unaware that I am there. And this one stayed for a long time. I love that bit of light green on the lower part of the beak. I don't think that was there in the red-legged crake. You can also see a brown-cheeked fulvetta visiting the pool. They always like to come late in the day. Common emerald dove again, bit of a photo bomb. And a Blythe's Paradise flycatcher again, on the same perch as before. But while I was filming that, there has been another switch at the pool. The red-legged crake is back, and the slaty-legged crake is nowhere to be seen. Now I really am scratching my eyes, wondering whether I've just made a mistake. And just when I was thinking that that was it for the day, more orange. This time it is the ferruginous partridge, another of the species that draws birdwatchers to these hides. Well, it was difficult to know where to look. There are numerous small birds visiting the pond behind, including Siberian blue robins, males and females. Another crake makes a brief appearance, but I decided to concentrate on these stunning partridges. This species is found in Myanmar, Thailand, Malaysia and parts of Indonesia, and although I see online that it is listed as near threatened, that is actually a relief to me, because it was my impression some years ago that this species was in grave danger of disappearing in many locations. Back at the pool, a variety of smaller birds, but By this time, I had only a minute of camera memory left. I have used 256 gigabytes for just 60 minutes of 8K recording in the afternoon session alone. For this kind of event, I have my cameras set up so that I can switch between 8K, 4K or HD at a single touch. Here we see Abbott's Babbler, Siberian Blue Robin and Puff-Throated Babbler there at the pool. And I think there is another pinstripe tit babbler on the log at the back at some point. Anyway, I've switched over to 4K now to get me a couple of extra minutes of film time, and thank goodness I did. Because in the last minute, in walked my fourth lifer for the day. An orange-headed thrush. What a stunning sight. Thankfully, I got a little bit of footage of this gorgeous bird as I watched the timer on my camera go down to 0.